Hello, and today's learning objective is to understand comma and its usage. By the end of this video, you will be able to answer these questions. What is a comma? How to use a comma? Meet your friend, the comma. A comma is a punctuation mark that represents a short pause and is used to divide parts of a sentence. Why should we care about a comma? Let's see. Let's eat, Grandma. I love cooking my family, my friend, and my dog. A comma can change the meaning of a sentence completely. So, yes, comma matters. Let's eat, Grandma. I love cooking, my family, my friend, and my dog. So, comma gives a short pause. What does a comma do? A comma can separate a list of things or ideas. It can indicate pause in a sentence. It can join two clauses together. Let's see comma in a list. We use comma in a list to separate items in the list. For examples, I like apple, banana, and orange. We saw lions, tigers, monkeys, and bears at the zoo. Remember, join the last two words by and. So I want you to pause this video and write three examples of a comma in a list. You can comment as well. So let's look commas with adjectives. Comma can also be used to separate coordinate adjectives. So what are coordinate adjectives? Two or more adjectives that work together to describe same noun or a pronoun. Okay, so here is a secret hack we are going to use. If you can put word "and" between them or swap their orders and it still makes sense, you need a comma. It's a simple hack. For example, it was a bright, warm afternoon. As per the hack, we need to put "and" between them. So, warm and bright afternoon. Does it make sense? Yes. So, you need to use a comma. You can we say warm, bright afternoon? We can, right? So use a comma. He was a kind, sweet nature. As per the hack, you need to use n in between the words. So kind and sweet make sense? Yes. So use a comma. Sweet kind, can we swap the orders? Yes. So sweet kind also makes sense. So you need a comma. When not to use a comma. Sometimes adjectives work as a team, which is called cumulative adjectives and cannot be separated. For example, the big blue house. Try to flip it. Blue big house. Sounds weird, right? So here we cannot use comma. So let's see the use of a comma in independent clause and use of a comma in dependent clause. So there are two rules, if we can say. Use a comma before fanboys. Fanboys is acronym for and no but or yet. So use a comma if they join complete sentence. A sentence that makes sense on its own. Example, I am tired. So I went to bed early. So I am tired makes sense on its own. I went to bed early makes sense on its own. They are both complete sentence which are joined by a word so. So you need a comma. I am tired, comma, so I went to bed early. Simple. As simple as that. Now let's see the dependent clause rule for comma. So if you start a sentence with a dependent clause, as the word says, dependent, a group of words that does not make sense on its own, you need a comma to separate it from the main part of a sentence. Example, while I was reading. It starts with a dependent clause. My phone rang. So while I was reading, comma, my phone rang. You do not need a comma if the dependent clause is at the end. My phone rang while I was reading. It is at the you only need a comma if your sentence is starting with a dependent clause. Now, I want you to pause the video and write two examples of each rule. And you can comment as well. Thank you. Comma in a direct speech. So, in short, there is roughly like a two rules while we use comma in a direct speech. So, first, add a comma before the quotation marks after the words like he said or she said. For example, if the quote is after the words like he said, she said, you have to put the comma before the quotation mark. And if the quotes come first, if your quotes come first, you have to put the comma inside the quotation mark. For example, I like grammar, she said. The quote is first, so you have to put the comma inside the quotation marks. If in rule as in rule 1 it's like she said I love grammar, so the actual quote is following the words she said, so the comma will be before the quotation mark. So I want you to write two example of this very simple rules. I know it look complicated, but it's mind me it's really simple. If you write it down, it's just going to be you're going to grasp the concept. So I want you to write two example. Actually, I want you to comment below the two example of each rules.